Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first article review. My name is Dr. Davila, and I will be focusing this particular session on an article that's going to talk about some essential readings for undergrad students. Some of you may currently be working in the field of behavioral clinicians. Some of you may be working in a grad program, right? Currently in a grad program. And some of you might be BCBAs, right, or BCABAs. So this particular review session is going to allow you to get some information. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be reviewing the first article, which is going to be about essential readings for undergrad students. So I'm going to be basically referencing that article. In the upcoming sessions, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going through each of these articles that are being outlined in this particular article because it's really important. It's really important to go to the essence of the field. And as a behavioral analyst, I'm going to show you how I particularly prepare myself, how I read these articles. I've been doing it for many years. It's one of the ways I'm able to stay fresh and always engaged when it comes to being able to be always on top of like the research and some of the stuff that's been done in the past in the field. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen. And here's the first article we're going to be looking at. So it's called Essential Readings for Undergraduate Students in Behavior Analysis, a survey of behavior analytic faculty and practitioners. This was published back in May 7, 2018, and it was published in the Behavior Analysis and Practice Journal. And these were the different individuals that worked on this particular article. So one of the biggest focal points that I like about this article is it allows you to basically hear or see, right, the different feedback from people that are been in the field for a while. So they provided a survey to people that have been in the field. I'm going to get right into who they were serving. So they sent an email request to people to participate, right? For in this case, they sent it to a few of the editors from some of the more popular journals in our field, such as Behavior Analysis and Practice, the Behavior Analysis Research and Practice, Behavior Analysis Today, of course, the famous Journal of Applied Behavior Analysis, or JABA. And, they did a few of that, and they also were able to send out a survey to some people, board of directors at Association for Behavior Analysis International, ABI, which is obviously really important in our field, APBA, Association of Professional Behavior Analysts, and of course, our BACB, our Behavior Analyst Certification Board. So they basically sent out these emails to, like I said, those particular journals, the board of directors, and they also sent out some more some emails to people from that teach courses. Okay, so this is the next part here. So in general, they were able to survey, a lot of people that have been in the field for a while, which I think as a practitioner, people that are working in the field, it's very important to kind of see, right, what is the overall like feedback from people that work in the field. What are people reading, right? What is important to people? And after being able to go through that, they were basically asked some very generic questions like what do you teach? So what level are you a practitioner doing behavior analytic services? Are you involved in recruiting, hiring of behavior analytic practitioners, etc.? So a lot of different specific questions. Really, the main objective for the people that were writing this particular paper was to figure out what it is that people are reading, right? I want to know, right? If I'm a behavior analyst or behavior analyst in training, I want to know what it is that people are reading, because one of my biggest insecurity learning in this field and coming up in this field was, am I reading the right stuff? Am I actually able to reference research, right? That is so essential. And nowadays, there's so much information out there in the field, so many journals, so many articles that people need to read. And if you're starting in this field, it's probably a good idea to have something that can really narrow your focus to that, and it'll allow you to prepare yourself with that. So that's what they did. And they were able to survey 314 participants. But after by process of elimination, because some people listed journal titles and some not article titles, so there was some type of criteria that was not met. They eliminated 87 participants, so they ended up with 227 usable surveys. So that's how they were able to get information to figure out what are the articles, what are the things that people need to read about, especially when they're starting in this field. Okay, I'm not going to get too much into the participant demographics. I think that you guys can have a chance to take a look at it. You can. But what I wanted to truly get into was the whole aspect of the meat of this, right? Which is what articles that people actually like find extremely important and useful. And it was no surprise, of course, that the first article, the most popular article, was actually the Bear, Wolf, and Risley, the current dimensions of applied behavior analysis. So for those that are, have been working in the field for a good amount of time, that's a super important article. And we're going to probably end up reviewing that article in our next article review, session. So no surprise there. Extremely, really, it's so important. I think that as an undergrad, student or any type of level, people that are serious about the field, they need to for sure read that article. So they actually that was ranked number one, 74% rated at, being, the top. The next one was Iwata article, very famous one, the FA article. This was from 1994, which was obviously so important. Functional analysis are so they're the gold standard for when we're assessing behavior. So that was also very cool to see that was still rated up there as number two. Then we had the other one, which is the Bear, Wolf, and Risley, the 1987 one. So one of the cool things here that you're going to notice is that there's the first one that they rated was 1968. So that was like the original version of this. The 1987 added a few extra things to it, a few extra dimensions to it. And like I said, we'll look at it as we kind of go through these articles in the upcoming sessions. But that was for sure number three. They had the Stoics and Bear, implicit knowledge of generalization, which we know generalization is so important in our field. Wolf, social validity, right? The case of subjective measurement, or how applied behavior analysis is finding its part. Now, this one is a really interesting one because as we currently, looking at a lot of the current research that's been published, and a lot of people are going more to the social validity part, like knowing how people take our science is so important, right? Because I think that nowadays we're serving, thousands and thousands of people, and there's more behavior analysts out there and more practitioners in general out there. So we want to know how are people basically taking our approach, how are people actually taking our science. So this whole thing about social validity is so important, and we're going to look at this article as well. The Carr and Duran, of course, this is one of my favorite articles here where it talks about, the whole aspect of functional communication training, really the essence of where some of this particular, research came from, right? When we talk about FCT. So this is really cool to see, once again, that it made the top 10 list here. The Van Houten, Throw, Bailey, this is more about the right to effective behavioral treatment. Another really popular journal article, right, that basically was rated actually number 7. We had a next one by Bannerman, Sheldon, Sherman, and Archik, 1990, balancing the right to rehabilitation with the right to personal liberties, the rights of people with the mental disabilities to eat too many donuts and take a nap. Really cool topic there. We talk about the whole aspect of making choices and allowing, some type of opportunity, right, for individuals with disabilities to make those particular choices. So it's really cool to see that back in 1990, that was a point of discussion as well, right? We're talking about this is, more than almost 30 years ago, right, that this was something that was discussed. Number 9 is Lovas, 1987. This is behavioral treatment, normal educational and intellectual functioning in young autistic children. As you know, Lovas is highly known for the DTT, discrete thought training, all that cool research. So probably be able to read on that. And Jack Michael, right, Michael J, 1982, distinguishing between discriminative stimuli and motivational functions of stimuli, which is the MOs, right? This is actually an article that when I first read it, I found it so hard to understand and really follow. It took me probably like 5, times to really read it a few times to kind of get a good sense of what they're talking about. So, nonetheless, so important in our field. And, they actually have one more here, which is Hanley, Iwata, and McCord, functional analysis of problem behavior, which goes back to, once again, what we talked about, that FAs are the gold standard for assessments in our field. And it's one that, once again, it's highly cited in our field, and one that's considered, they actually added more, right? This is top 11, I would say. So they have 2 10s here. This top 10, right? It was a tie, I guess, here. So these are the articles that I'm going to be reviewing in the upcoming weeks. I wanted to at least give you a list of these particular articles. I want to talk to you how they picked these articles. And what I'm going to do is literally pull out these articles, read through some of the main points that I found really important, and we can learn together. I mean, at the end of the day, I've been in the field for 13 plus years, but I always believe that it's so important to continue like going back to some of this original literature and to be able to reread it, refresh yourself a little bit, and for those that are learning this stuff to learn together, right? To basically practice the whole aspect of doing an article review. To me, like I said, that is such an important, aspect of being a true behavior analyst and being a true professional. Is not just, saying, oh, I read the book or I read this article a few years back and I'm not ever going to look at that. But rather, I want to go back and review these things because these are, basically the principles that we talk about every single day in our practice. So it's so important to do that. So, like I said, this is going to be our first session, and I really hope that you can subscribe to my YouTube channel to be able to to get some more information about this. And before I leave, actually, there's another really cool thing about this is that they actually put books, behavior analytic books, right? Because I have a library, of books, and I actually went through the list. I checked off to see if I have these books. So the first one they put here, for instance, is a Cooper book. Of course, your Cooper book is like, that's so important to have that, right? If you have that on your library, right? That's a plus, right? That's one that we always study and review and to prepare for exam, but also to reference when we're working with clients. The second one here was the Bailey and Birch, which is ethics. Right? Ethical guidelines are so crucial for us to know. Now, here comes the next couple of books that once again, they truly hit the heart when it comes to the science. The Skinner, text from 1953, Science and Human Behavior. That book is phenomenal. That's a great text. And I hope, right, that we're going to have an opportunity to read together through these chapters. I hope that, once again, we're going to have opportunity to go back to where this particular, science started, right? And the next one's the same thing, Skinner about behaviorism. I remember that going to grad school, I actually, was very, very excited, right? Or I'm still very excited about the field, but I was super like hyped up about it. And I actually ended up purchasing a lot of these different textbooks from Skinner. And I read about him. I read about his life, learned about some more about the basics, about where it started, right? So, to me, it's B.F. Skinner is someone that's so important, right, to our field. And it's good to go back and read some of these things, right? Some of these texts. Middleberger, which I do have as well. That was cool. So so far, I'm going to say I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 5. I have that book. Of course, the verbal behavior text, super, big textbook. It's like this big, but it's so important. I have that one too. The principles of behavior from a lot as well. I actually taught a few courses, and this was a textbook that we would be using, so I would always be reading this book. I probably read it probably 30 times. So it's been many times that I've been exposed to this particular text. The Walden too is a really interesting textbook as well. It's something that we'll talk about later. So I have that one too. I have the next one, Bailey and Birch, which is 25 essential skills and strategies for the professional behavior analyst, expert tips for maximizing consulting effectiveness. It's another really important text. And this one right here is really cool that it made the list, the Fire K 1985, Don't Shoot the Dog, the New Art of Teaching and Training. It's a really cool textbook. I heard that it's really good. I haven't had a chance to read it. I actually have it in my library. I'm going to probably, now that I'm starting these sessions with you, I'm going to end up reading this book because I heard it's a great book from a lot of my colleagues. So yes, all of these are really cool to know that these are the quote unquote top behavior analytic books that if you're an undergrad student, you should probably look into purchasing, getting the text somewhere. It's great references, great resource to have. And I mean, this is, like I said, the main aspect of what we're going to be looking at the next couple weeks. And I hope that I don't bore you guys with these particular lessons. Sometimes I get too deep into the article. I forget sometimes that I'm speaking to an audience. And I just want to once again thank you that for those that have been able to subscribe to my YouTube channel in the past, that it's hopefully something that's helpful for you. So look forward to seeing you all soon. And I'm gonna end up putting the link for this particular article on the YouTube video right underneath in the description section, so you can be able to click on it and be able to access it. Take care, everybody.